If you've been keeping up at all with the overall opinion toward the Virtual Console here at IGN, you know by now that one of our top picks for the service is Treasure's Gunstar Heroes, a two-player cooperative action/platformer/shooter first released for the Genesis back in 1993. We rated it a 9 out of 10 in its review late last year, gave it an Editor's Choice Award, named it the VC Game of the Year for 2006 and, through 2007, have taken every opportunity to remind new Wii owners about its existence in the online shop. It's an excellent game. And now it's time to submit a fresh addendum to our opinion about it. If you took our advice, downloaded Gunstar Heroes and loved it, you'll very likely also like Alien Soldier. This is a game that plays very much like Gunstar Heroes, and finds appeal in much the same way. It's a side-scrolling action/shooter with tons of explosions, enemies, weapon types and maneuvers, and lots of huge, impressive bosses to face off against. It was also developed by Treasure, so it was a follow-up to Gunstar in many ways. But, unfortunately, it was even more obscure in its original release. Whereas Gunstar was tough to find in the States in cartridge form, Alien Soldier was nearly impossible to track down thanks to its lack of an official American release. If you wanted to play this one before present day in the USA, you would have had to import it from Japan or Europe, or have downloaded it through the short-lived Sega Channel service. Epsilon Eagle is the name of your gun-toting avatar this time around, and he's apparently some kind of reformed terrorist alien who's inhabited the body of a human-shaped bipedal bird, not unlike the Star Fox series Falco Lombardi. His quest is to deal out death and destruction against his former terrorist comrades and their new leader, She-Tiger. The story's a nonsensical chaotic mess, to be truthful, and plays out at the beginning of the game in a far too long text scroll, and then is never seen again after the action begins. Which is just as well, because the feeling of chaos simply continues into the gameplay, and doesn't dissipate a bit over the course of Alien Soldier's 25 levels. Which aren't so much levels as they are straight-up boss battles with a bit of platforming preamble. The boss rush mode in some of the Gradius games is probably the closest comparison to how Alien Soldier is structured, because there's relatively little, normal level, content in the game that isn't a boss fight. The battles come quickly, and often, and the vast majority of your time playing as Epsilon Eagle will be spent in figuring out the best way to dodge around and blast to bits the latest oversized foe to lumber across the screen. And there's a considerable learning curve to overcome in that figuring out process, as the array of choices and options for your hero is vast. There are 6 different varieties of main weapon to choose from, and you can select any combination of 4 of them to form your arsenal at the beginning of the adventure. Additionally, Eagle has double jump, teleport dash and hovering techniques that you'll need to master, while also simultaneously switching between fixed fire and free-moving styles of attack. The first plants your feet and makes you unmovable while you hold down your active gun's trigger, while the second allows you to walk and shoot at the same time for a sacrifice of directional accuracy. It's a lot to take in. But, again, established fans of Gunstar Heroes will already be 90% familiar with Alien Soldier's feel and control, and will be able to dive in quickly. Many of the guns are similar, too, like the homing force and sword force options. What Alien Soldier doesn't do as well as its spiritual predecessor is encourage multiplayer gaming, as it offers no 2-player simultaneous mode. This adventure is for 1 player only, which seems like a significant oversight, because a huge chunk of Gunstar's appeal was attributable to the fact that you didn't have to blast the baddies alone. This soldier is strictly solitary, so be forewarned of disappointing your Gunstar partner when and if you download this one. Alien Soldier is a long-lost piece of Treasure's action gaming legacy. It's got the fast-firing, high-energy, overly explosive intensity that fans of the company have come to expect after years of playing its shooter and action titles, and it will immediately appeal to anyone who's ever enjoyed a round or 2 of games like Gradius V, Ikaruga or, of course, Gunstar Heroes. Compared to the latter, Alien Soldier is an excellent follow-up and immediately recommendable as a spiritual sequel to that experience. But this particular title's lack of a two-player co-op mode and slightly elevated price tag, its 900 points, instead of the traditional 800, keep it from eclipsing the value of the one that came before. If you've already downloaded Gunstar and played it to death, put down the $9 to keep the action going with Alien Soldier. But if you still haven't commanded the heroes in battle, put Solitaire on hold, try Gunstar first, and then come back here afterward to see if your brain is still intact enough to be able to handle yet more Treasure Brand madness.